Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cluster API Provider AWS office hours on the 20th of September 2021. A reminder that we abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, so generally just be kind to each other and respect each other. Sadef has shared the meeting notes, and I'm in the chat window, and I'm also sharing them on the screen here. If there's any topics you'd like to cover, please add them to the agenda now. If you want to talk during the meeting, can you use the raise hands feature as well? Bring the participants up. Cool, as this is our first meeting in a while, I guess, isn't it? Are there any new people that would like to unmute and say hello and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Madhur Agarwal, and I have recently joined the TKG CAP Provider India team. And I'll tell a bit about myself. So I have a total experience of 3 years, and before joining VMware, I was with Amazon, working on the India payments team. And I have a few, like I had recently started contribution in Cluster API and Cluster API AWS provider. So now I will continue with that in this team through VMware. So pretty excited to learn now. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Madhur. Is there anyone else that would like to unmute?
Yep. Hi there, I'm Suraj Deshmukh. I work for Microsoft, and I'm currently working on this PR on the upstream or the cluster API repo for Ignition support. And yeah, this is my first time here. Thanks.
And is that Tilo? You've got your hand raised? Did you want to unmute?
Yeah, I just want to say hi. Hi, I'm Tilo. I'm in the same larger team as Suraj, and I'm also here for the Flatka Linux team, and want to learn a little about the timeline for beta 1.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Welcome. And then Winnie, you've got your hands raised as well. Go for it.
Hello. Hey, my name is Winnie Kwon. So I work for VMware. I've been working in Kubernetes space since 2019, but until now I've been working mostly on our commercial product. So I'm like really excited to start contributing to Kappa.
Cool. And Winnie, did you get your organization membership through? Okay.
I don't think it's merged yet.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully it won't take too long. Cool. So there are no PSAs this week, and there is one action item from the last meeting, and that was around issue 2662, where I was just going to check with some of our customers if they were just going to cause issues. And it wasn't, but it's merged anyway. So that's good. So I don't think we need to cover that unless anyone has any questions on that. No. So the next agenda item is Daniel. Over to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I noticed there's one outstanding PR that that added some validation to AWS machine and AWS machine template, and it looked like it would be a breaking change in that it changes the existing API behavior, but at the same time, it appears that if you previously, even though the validation was absent, if you introduced an invalid value, you couldn't have created a cluster. So on the one hand, it's adding this validation is a breaking API change. On the other hand, it in practice should not affect any users if we may, like based on the assumption that invalid values would not have given you a working cluster. And so this was an existing PR, and then some days later, I actually had cause to submit a sort of a similar PR. This one, it looks like we have support for different ELB, or the Elastic Load Balancer schemes, and the AWS cluster objects. So we can the Kappa controller, the cluster controller, can bring up can configure a different ELB scheme. And it appears that we had a typo capitalizing internet facing. So if you that value is not valid, and again, this is so this needs to be fixed in order to allow users to make configuration changes to the load balancer. There's a field with some subfields for the load balancer configuration, and if you are if you make any changes to those fields, then this value gets defaulted and it's capitalized, and then that becomes an sorry, it's not an invalid value, but the cluster deployment fails because the actual ELB in EC2, its scheme is internet facing with a lowercase. In any case, this is sort of the same situation where I'd like to fix this. This is what I think we would consider a breaking API change. However, if you were using internet facing capitalized, you would not have been able to deploy a cluster successfully. So kind of two PRs in this sort of the same question around them. Like, what do we do? Do we merge them? Do we bump an API version? So that's why I wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So the field name stays the same, but it's actually the value, isn't it, that is going to change, or the behavior based on that value is changing. Could we, I guess, to stop things breaking, could we support the old value and change it to the new value if we encounter it, so we don't break? Any assumptions people have? I don't know. What do you think to that idea, Daniel?
That's interesting. I hadn't actually considered it yet. I know that anyone, if you define an AWS cluster object and you explicitly put internet facing with the capital I, which is what I think the only valid value. So you can only have internal and then internet facing with a capital I. If you use the capital I internet facing, you won't be able to create a cluster because the AWS cluster controller will never be able to find the actual ELB that it has created. It'll error out saying like, hey, I found this other ELB, but it's not the ELB. It's like it has the same name, but it doesn't have the right scheme that I'm expecting. So go ahead, Siddharth.
Yeah, I just shared an issue that I worked on 6 months ago or so. So the issue was non-capital internet facing was not working. So if I don't remember, wrong. Like, that's why I made it enum. Yeah, why don't we check offline and follow up asynchronously on the issue that Daniel created?
Yeah, sounds good. Should we take an action item then for that?
Okay. And then, so I think there are the two issues that are kind of in the same, they have the sort of same question for both of them, right? One is that first one, the 2740 with the validation. Is that something that we can merge? Can we introduce that validation, given that even without the validation, if you put in the wrong value, you would not have been able to create a cluster?
Shivani, did you want to go?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel, for bringing this here. Actually, with this issue, there is an issue with omit empty tag, like with the optional fields in some of the structs we are using omit empty, and with some required fields also we are using omit empty that we shouldn't use. So that's why I created a separate issue, which can be an API breaking change, where we have to make the package wise validation as required and have to mention optional with only the optional fields. So maybe like I think we can go ahead with this change because it's not breaking the existing users as well as the old users. Because if you don't pass the instance type initially, then it will fail further with the error that the instance type provided is wrong. So it's like other people can suggest like what we should go ahead with that, but it won't be that breaking change. And we have a separate issue to track all those changes where the API can break.
Also, if we have more changes, we can make a new release for V1 Alpha 4 types, because it's been a while since our last change anyways.
Yeah, there are like a lot of fields I have seen where we need to change the types and remove the omit empty thing and make other things as required.
Sorry, I'm just taking notes. Does anyone else have any opinions on this one? No, okay. Next up is Tilo, if you to talk about code freeze and the timeline for beta 1.
Yeah, we have a number of changes currently in flight that we'd like to understand the impact of. It looks like most of the changes that we have in flight aren't even much of an issue for the code freeze, the upstream code freeze, and we're trying to better understand that for every provider. So we're joining the meetings, which arguably we should have done a lot earlier. So what's the AWS providers' plans in particular following the announcement of the October 1st code freeze of the core cluster API?
In all honesty, we haven't really talked about that unless Sedef, you and Nadir have talked about that.
No, but I think we need to follow a similar code freeze with cluster API. Again, there was a thread today. I just saw discussions about our plans for V1 Beta 1 in the cluster API channel. I think we can follow up in that thread with cluster API channel.
Tilo, does that answer your question, or?
Yeah, pretty much. So I believe the other providers go kind of in the same direction. I've attended the Azure provider meeting, and that was kind of similar there. maybe Suraj, do we have anything in flight that may impact the APIs in any form? Are you aware of anything there that we should discuss? If you're speaking right now, Suraj, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying not that I'm aware of, like in terms of breaking changes. The stuff on the AWS side is pretty much, I think, almost done. It's just that the upstream, the CAPI work is what is blocked on the E2E tests and feature gates. So once that goes in, I think other providers can go in as well. So yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, folks.
Cool. Ankita, you have the next topics.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring this to notice that me and Nadir last week have reviewed the test grid test failures, and we found few issues there. I can tell briefly about some of the issues. So there's 2764. Okay, yeah. So 2764 is about the EKS E2E periodic test is failing. It is failing sporadically. So sometimes the cluster is not getting deleted because of some of the resources are not getting deleted properly. I have not dig in deep more to that, but I think this has to be looked up. I also checked that this week we are getting the green reports, but there were failures, many failures last week. So it's worth checking this one. And then we have 2763. There is a failure related to multi-tenancy test as well. So that I'm checking. There is again some timeout issues happening related to the control plane creation. So we are not actually waiting for the enough time in the test cases. So that's why even before the control plane is up and running, our test case is getting timed out. So that's another issue. Then there is one more issue where we need some cleanup from V1 Alpha 3 release. So there were some test cases which Nader said that are not much relevant to us now, so we can get rid of them. So for that also, I have raised a PR already. Maybe you guys can check that out. And apart from that, there was also a conformance test issue, which was getting timed out due to the log collection was taking too long. So I think this has happened before as well. There is something wrong with the image builder where the system D is getting immensely large in size because of the audit logs. So that's why it's our test cases are finally running successfully, but at the end it's failing because the log collection didn't succeed. So I think this has to be fixed in image builder, but as a hack for now, we have provided a fix in cap A. So I have raised PR for that also. So yeah, I think we need to have a follow-up issue for the image builder. I think there is already an issue in image builder, but that was closed. So Nader has opened it now again. So yeah, that's what I wanted to bring it to the notice.
Cool. So yeah, so you've assigned those first two ones, haven't you? And then you got the multi-tenancy one and the EKS failure. I can have a look at this one.
Sure.
Or if you want to look at it and ping me, it's up to you. I can do either or. We've had issues with deletion before in the EKS side, so there is some code in there that checks for child resources. So I wonder if it's that, but if it's flaky and it's passes sometimes, I'm not sure. But yeah, we can have a look.
Sure.
Happy to have a look at that. Yeah, Daniel, you're next.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to sneak a question in. Have we ever considered adopting an existing ELB? So today, when you create an AWS cluster, the controller generates an ELB with a specific name. I think that is anyway. It acts, I think, as the primary key in EC2, and so it's not really possible to guess, or yeah, basically it's not possible to to create an ELB that AWS cluster controller will recognize and adopt. So I don't know if we've ever discussed that, if anybody's ever had a use case for that. I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't remember any conversations around that area. Sadef or anyone else, have you?
There's a load balancer provider, CAP in the CAPI. This probably allows using any other load balancer, but it is still in very early stage. I'm gonna put the link to the CAP. Other than that, we didn't discuss supporting it in Kappa itself.
Do you know if there would be so suppose that I were to PR a change to the reconciliation that allows for an existing ELB. Do you know if there would be any strong objections against that? Like just I don't know, philosophically, or
I don't think so. Can we start with an issue and use cases so that we can discuss on the issue? If no objections, we can go ahead and we can check load balancer proposal and where it is at. If there's a common work there that we can like adopt, we can maybe wait or implement ourselves.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll do that. I'll create an issue. Thanks.
Cool. Sorry, go for it. Shivani.
Yeah, actually, Daniel, I'm working with on this proposal with Nadir. So it's pretty much very in the initial phases. Right now, like this week and in coming week, my target is mainly collecting the use cases. So do you have any particular use case in mind, like for which you are asking? Maybe we can add it in the proposal itself and discuss it with the community further.
Yeah, I can add it to the issue. I mean, if we have time, I can talk about a use case. But if
we can maybe connect offline as well if you want. So add it in the proposal itself.
Yeah, anyway, it'd be quite interesting to share the use case if you had time.
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. Anybody else have? Oh, okay. All right, I'll keep it quick then. The use case is to be able to adopt a cluster that has been created using kubeadm but not Kappa, and it's the cluster runs in AWS, of course, and it has very similar topology, and yeah, there as far as like we've been able to adopt the control plane and the worker machines, but the ELB is the place where we've run into into this issue where right now the way that we're working around this is we are Kappa is creating its own ELB. We have the cluster has its ELB from its own topology, from its own network resources, and then we are modifying, or we're updating the certificate of the API server so that it's valid for both ELBs, right? For the names, for the DNS names of both ELBs. and then requests can come on both ELBs. But it would be great to to have Kappa adopt the existing ELB. There are some minor differences in the way that the ELB is named, but I believe that that it's possible to I believe that it's possible to guarantee to provide the same guarantees while using a slightly different name. But anyway, that's more of the implementation details. But that's the use case. Adopting a cluster that otherwise has, it's sort of like bringing your own. I guess it's extending the definition that we have today of bring your own AWS resources, extending that to the ELB. Because today you can bring in security groups, you can bring in machines, you can bring in your own VPC subnets, but the ELB not.
Yeah, I think that's a fair ask, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Daniel. And then I just added one last topic, which the good work done by Ankita reminded me of, is that if there's anyone interested in learning more about the end-to-end tests, how we write them, how we run them, how we debug them, feel free just to ping in the Slack or on here, and then we can arrange like a Zoom session just to go through that if anyone's interested. But just to forewarn you, it does take a lot of time to run these things, and it can suck up a lot of your life doing it. But they're really, really helpful. So yeah, if anyone's interested, just feel free to ping on the Slack, and we can arrange a Zoom meeting. Cool. Is there any final topics or anything else anyone would like to discuss? Going once, going twice. Brilliant. Cool. Well, we can call the meeting to a close. Have a good day, have a good evening, and see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.